scientist spilled 2 drops of organic mercury onto her hand. This is what happened to her brain. KW is a 48 years old woman presenting to the emergency room with a severe deterioration in balance, speech and gait, which means she hardly able to speak or to walk. She tells the admitting nurse that she had lost 15 pounds over the last 2 months. 5 months earlier, she was transferring liquid dimethyl from a container when suddenly 2 drops of the liquids spilled onto the dorsal or back of her hand from the tip of the pipette. So together with me, we will be exploring more on this case. So, good morning I bid to Madam Hairuzila, my fellow organizer, and my members of the floor. So, my name is Muhammad Izhan Rosli. I will be presenting to you about the types of personal protective equipment, or PPE in short form. So the reason why I choose this topic is, firstly, mainly to guide you all in your working space, as we are chemical engineer are going to be exposed with many types of hazards in our working space. I, as a chemical engineer, have already been exposed to the basic of safety in laboratory for all the time that I have spent doing my experiment in lab. So before I proceed with my presentation, I want to preview with you about my main point. There are 4 types of PPE which you should know. Firstly is the eye protection, and then the skin protection, and also the respiration protection, and lastly is the hearing protection. So let's jump to my first main point. Eye protection. As we all know, eye is a very precious organ for us. So we might want to protect it. So for the first type of eye protection PPE, there is the chemical splash goggles. Chemical splash goggle is used to prevent any chemical splashes or spray from entering our eye. It is also used to prevent any impact to our eye. Next, we have the face shield. Face shield is used as not as a substitute to the chemical splash goggles. However, it is used as a conjunction with the chemical splash goggles. And then, for the eye protection PPE, briefly, there are 2 types of goggles, which is, first is the chemical splash goggles, and then we have the face shield. And then moving on to my second point, which is the hearing protection. Well, you guys might be thinking what kind of hazard, right, for hearing protection. So let me tell you, exposure towards high frequency over a long time could damage our hearing. So for the first type of hearing protection PPE is the earmuff. Earmuff consists of a material of a sound attenuating material on the inside and a hard outer caps on the outside, and is connected by a headband. So next is the earplug. Earplug consists made of disposable material, as it is used as a disposable. It is used by fitting into our ear canal. Okay. So for hearing protection, we have 2 mainly wide use, which is the earmuff and also the earplug. So next is the respiratory protection. So for respiratory protection PPE, it is called a respirator. So for respirator, we can differentiate about 2 types according to their purpose. Firstly, we have the face mask, which is the N95 face mask. For years, people have been confused the N95 mask with the surgeon mask. Let me tell you, the surgeon mask is actually not able to filter out any particle. It is meant to be worn by the surgeon just to prevent any blood spill. Next, we have the gas mask. As you can see, the gas mask is equipped with 2 cartridges. For the gas mask, we have to use the right cartridge for any specific hazard, which means that you have to identify first the hazard, and then you can know the right cartridge for it. For the cartridge, there is a cartridge that is able to filter up 2 or more hazard, but up to this day, there is no cartridge that is able to filter all in one hazard. So, for respiratory protection, we have 2 types, which is the face mask and also the gas mask. So next is the skin protection. For the skin protection, we have 2 types of glove, which is of course the common one, which is the latex glove, and there is the neoprene glove. Latex glove is widely used as it is cheap and widely available. However, we have to know that the latex glove is actually not chemical resistant, and it is the least suitable for us, as we chemical engineer will be working with lots of chemical. So for the neoprene glove is a very highly resistant glove, highly chemical resistant glove. It is used as a secondary glove after the latex glove. So in the KW cases, according to the mercury toxic exposure, this is what she's missing. She's missing the neoprene glove. So for the skin protection, we have 2 types of glove, which is the neoprene glove and also the latex glove. So before I come to my conclusion, I want to state back the 4 types of PPE which you all should know. Firstly is the eye protection PPE, and next is the respiration protection PPE, and then the hearing protection PPE, and lastly is the skin protection PPE. To conclude, we as a chemical engineer are taking care of our own safety in the workspace, as there is no others to take care of us. So that's it. I open the floor to any question and answers.
Why can't we have a mask with all function?
Okay, good question from Hanis. She asked why we can't have a mask with all of the function, right? Okay, so thank you for your question. The answer is simple. If we want to have a mask with all of the function, it's going to limit most of the thing that we have take for granted. Firstly is the mobility. There is a mask that is able to filter everything, but there is going to limit our mobility, just like the scuba diver. Okay, so we have to consider also the cost of the manufacturing. So if we want to have a mask that have all of the functions, so it's going to be expensive and not able to be commercialized. Okay, so that's it.
In your introduction, you have mentioned, you have tell story about the Professor KW. So what happened to her after the mercury exposure?
Okay, so good question from Azhar. He asked about the KW. Okay, so KW, in this case, in a normal human, if we flash some light into eyes, our pupils are going to retract, which means we have response from the light. But in KW cases, it is late, which means that she has already lost contact with the outer world, which means she is already paralyzed. So about several years later, she has already been died. She's died.
Just now you said that mask N95 can filter out particles, right? So may I know that is it can filter out this latest coronavirus?
Okay, so good question from Daniel. She asked if we able to filter out the coronavirus. using the N95 mask. So